wrap my head around the rationale behind it.
Okay, so think about it this way. If you're using an artillery mage, whether it's real world manipulation on Eve or feathered airstrike on a Farsa, if you just click Dark Knight Falls, you see nothing. You literally have all this extra maps visual space that you can look on your phone, and you get zero value out of it. That's why Hellcurt has been such a prominent ban for these teams. We haven't just seen it here at the Snapdragon Pro Series, we've seen it here at MPL MY. We've also seen it brought up a couple of times in individual MPLs.
Once more, Euphoria Esports back on the red side, GameLab on blue. Kufra and 1-1, still the priority. And GameLab has been really adamant in taking out Kufra.
Yeah, they just want to make sure that a lot of their dash options are available. But here's the thing, right? That Fanny pickup coming in for the side of Euphoria Esports sounds like a good idea, but they're not going to give it over to GameLab. They're still going to follow their Game 1 trend here.
And this, I think we are definitely going to be settling into a more consistent bans from both teams. I think Kufra has been a big point of contention. Kaja as well. GameLab doesn't want to deal with it, and you again toss the ball back onto Euphoria Esports core, right? You have the Farmers, you have the Joy to think of, the Arlot as well.
So many things to think about here. What does Euphoria Esports care about more than anything else? Because, again, it could just be a repeat of Game 2's draft, except on the opposite side. Euphoria could put GameLab in a position where they have to kind of, oh, I gotta go for this priority pick. Selects it, instantly gets countered, and then it affects the entirety of the draft.
Yeah, Euphoria Esports definitely taking the time with this. In Game 1, they did ban out the Farmers last. They don't give it over to GameLab, but in this case, I do feel like the Joy isn't the biggest issue overall. Right? Euphoria, they did have a way to do with it, though it did require them to go down the Franco route.
That's the thing. That's the big issue here.
They let both through, you know?
They let both through. And personally, for me, I don't think that's a good idea at all. But it looks like Euphoria has a different angle this time. Banning out the Eve, that does mean that Valentina just shoots up higher in priority. Fanny can get cancelled out. Eve does have a lot of flexibility, but GameLab going to be starting off with Arla instead of the Joy.
I guess overall, if you can't decide on if multiple heroes have priority, you might as well let them all go and just pick up what's left, right? Valentina now goes over to Euphoria Esports, and indeed, they will pick up the Joy for themselves. Farm is still online. GameLab now looking to be in a good spot to pick that one up.
Look, if GameLab wants to lock in this Farsa, they gotta pick up the Grok at the same time. They don't want free ways for your opponents to get on top of you, and obviously with Farsa, it's great. You should technically be able to outrun the Joy at the earlier stages of the game, but later on, nah, the damage will be way too much to handle.
What does GameLab have in mind? Two very crucial picks. If the Farsa doesn't get picked up, what other options do they have left? Do you just pick the Grok +1?
I don't know, because that's the thing. When you pair up Grok with Farsa, they usually go together because one counters the other, right? Grok is able to kind of cancel out the Feathered Airstrike, so I don't see any reason for GameLab to start showing the Grok. But Farmis is open, so they're going to lock Farmis as well as the carry this time.
A lot of that security in these team fights, right? You want to run around us. Well, now we have to call Alta, and Grok just goes over to Euphoria Esports. And we've seen how YoshiGod really utilized this flicker engage onto GameLab. That has been the bane of GameLab in Game 1.
Yeah, the big question is whether or not we're going to see Aizawa playing the Farmis, or whether it's going to fall into the hands of Doberman, right? We don't know whether Farmis is going to go into the support or mid lane, essentially, but Euphoria, smartly enough, get rid of the Franco. No Bloody Hunt, so that means, well, at this point, it does mean that Joy gets to run around for free.
Are there any alternatives? Maybe I guess Farmis is probably the kind of the soft counter with the Shadow Stampede, but yeah, I think Joy gets free reign in these team fights.
I'm surprised. I'm really surprised that GameLab didn't decide to actually, look to pick up the Franco at the very least. Don't really care about what your marksman option is going to be from here on out, because at the end of the day, every marksman is going to struggle against this Joy.
Yeah, and GameLab even went as far as banning out the Harith, right? They were the one who picked Harith into carry in Game 1. Now they are worried that the lane is going to go sour for them. They just instantly take it out. Judging by Shizo's got stats in both Game 1 and 2, I think it's very understandable. And Euphoria Esports banning out the Diggy also.
Why do they want to ban out the Diggy? Is there anything that they want to particularly counter? I guess the engage coming in from Grok at the very least, but other than that, I don't really see the angle just yet. Maybe there's something I'm not seeing for now, but GameLab, they also get rid of another lane bully in the Brody as well as the Harith. So now this forces Euphoria Esports to really start thinking about their options in terms of the gold lane. Personally, I think Melissa doesn't seem too bad at all, but it does mean it will spark a response from GameLab to pick up this Martis.
For Esports, they're gonna pick the Halkert. Find the first time we see a Halkert, I believe, at least on broadcast. But this does take away kind of the option for Farsa, right? If they don't want to go on the Farmist, now Farsa also is not an option anymore.
It's a huge deterrent. Like, no matter what mage you pick, it's going to struggle against this Hellcurt. If we start thinking about like the situational picks, like Lilia for an example, she's going to struggle. As soon as Dark Knight falls, that means the lunge, the leap, the gap closer for Hellcurt gets an innate silence, and that's a huge problem with such a heavy burst hero with the Stingers.
And even if we look past the mage, I think overall it threatens GameLab, right? You have a farmist who wants to stick on your team. Also makes it pretty deadly for the carry. So GameLab, they're gonna double up with that brick wall. Ruby and Fredrin.
Okay, this one isn't so bad. So GameLab's option is saying, all right, you're going to get at least one of us, right? There's nothing much we can really do about it except clump together, call Altar, pray for the best, and wait out that duration. After that duration, that's when Euphoria is expected to run at their opponents with the call Altar. They've got a strong dive comp with 4 of the heroes. Now to add on to it, what else do they need? Personally, for me, I'm thinking along the lines of Melissa. I'm thinking along the line Beatrix. Yeah, perfect. Combo components.
And just so many tools for GameLab to deal with. In close range, Euphoria Esports has it. You want long range snipe, Beatrix does it just fine. You're gonna Yoshi got on the Grok once more. And Euphoria Esports going back to that playbook of game number 1.
Yeah, honestly, I'm interested to see how this Hellcurt is going to perform into something like a Fredrin. I want to see where are the openings that Euphoria is going to notice in the side lanes, or maybe even get those free picks onto people like Arla, who's going to struggle against Hellcurt. His natural passive is to silence you every time you CC, and, well, Arla, 2 out of the 3 abilities have CC in it.
How is that lane going to look like for Arlott against a Joy?
Joy should come out ahead. Technically, it's quite the skill matchup, but it's not an easy skill matchup. Joy generally has the advantage here, but with Arlott, it's all about timings, right? Can you catch the Joy just when she gets off her dash, and that way you can actually use your first ability to stun her before she dashes again. It's all about whether or not you can nail the timing.
Kind of a skill matchup.
It is.
It's going to be interesting. Havas, he's one of the guys who is not shy to really flex that mechanic. Now we get to see that. But I'm definitely looking at him to go more of a tank Arlott. That has been something that I believe the Filipino teams, and GameLab was one of them, to really bring out early on and found a lot of success with it. It's good to see that again. But overall, it does feel like Euphoria Esports, they're more comfortable in their skin in this Game 3 draft. And GameLab, kind of the one who are that's more threatened.
Well, I would say that Euphoria actually has quite a mountain to climb here, right? Because a lot of their members can peel very well for Yuktizi. Dokman slows down the entire team. Takanaga can peel easily. Havas as well can push people out of position, can either progress the fight or de-escalate fights. He can do both. Euphoria, they're really good at going in. They're going to struggle getting out.
Oh, yes. Takanaga this time will start the orange buff and try to contest the purple of Hellcurt, but can't do so. I mean, you always have the Deadly Stinger, just great burst, allows you to secure the buffs early on. So not much of a contest, but I guess we can expect both these Romas to start mirroring each other again. But how is Dortmund going to interact with Yoshi God?
Well, okay, so he's going to have to basically mirror Yoshi God no matter what, right? If they can get a little bit of pressure in the mid lane, like what we're seeing right here, then they can start moving to the side lanes.
Holding Yoshi God back, there's the initial knockup, but Yoshi God is quite beefy and does some considerable amount of damage. Also, Venugod, the Deadly Stinger, actually onto Takinaga instead of Dortmund, and now they're losing steam a bit. The Shadow Stampede right there, pulling him back. First blood for Aizawa.
Just a poor choice there. Just a little bit of a poor choice coming in from Venogod. He really wanted to actually take away, to steal away the Lethal Wanderer when he could have actually just fully committed on towards Dokman. But he knew that Dokman had that flicker, and if he didn't pop it, then there's nothing much. He was going to whiff the stingers regardless. Now, Shizogod has to pay the price because of that decision.
And Euphoria East, I kind of feel like they're reading a bit too much between the lines, right? He's going to force a reaction from GameLab. through all of that, they did get the flicker out of Dolman. Venom got back to business on the top side, but her voice just gonna start pressuring him. Dennis Ding is not doing much damage. With Dolman showing up top, Venom God has no avenues.
Yep, and now Dolman has changed his game plan, right? Instead of just mirroring the Grok, he's gonna help that mid lane out, clear it, and immediately start looking for Veno. Because Veno is gonna struggle against Dolman here, who's able to cancel out a lot of his abilities, especially since he's so auto attack based. That makes it a bit of a struggle.
Turtle is gonna be a big point of contention. Voss once more running interference. Venom goes in to walk right out. Dark Knight Falls is right there. Steals the turtle away. He needs to get out. Though Shadow Transition is around, but GameLab actually gets some decent control. He's got running between the members of GameLab. Euphoria Esports holding on for longer than they should. They get 2 kills off of that. Has got not done just yet, but can't follow on Takenaga.
Beautifully played by both sides. We get the initial pull coming in from Dokman towards Venogod. That was his whole idea. Takenaga, unfortunately for him, he wasn't able to secure the neutral objective. It ends up dying to Headsgod here, greening out for a gold crab.
Now letting him proc that ultimate as well. Euphoria Esports definitely doing some heavy damage. And this is not a game where Aizawa can do, because copious amount of magic damage, right? This Farmist is more of a utility role as the game progresses. It feels like as much as you mentioned that Euphoria has some hurdles they need to hop through, but when we talk about the scaling, it does feel like in this mid-lane matchup, Ryujin is going to have a better time as the game progresses.
Much better time, in a matter of fact. And let's say Venogod is able to recover from the damage that happened earlier by Lethal Wanderer, which I think he is. Is that level 6? Squinting a little bit because of my ancient
6 to 5.
eye. 6 to 5. So yeah, he is ahead of Takenaga despite all that's happened.
Yeah, and he was able to get the turtle also, right? So that's a mini bonus for Euphoria Esports. But Dolman is going to come in onto Yoshi-God. They have the Shadow Stampede to pull him back, but Yoshi-God, he's just too tanky, and oh my goodness, Aizawa just eats the entire barrage of Shizzle-God. Instead of follow-up, flicker forward, I'm offender, Dark Knight Falls, Venogod in the fight, and that's already 2 for Ryujin God. He gets an easy double, and GameLab have no response to that.
Beautifully played coming in from Euphoria. And that's the thing, right? Hellcurt is never going to be the first one in that fight. He's going to wait for things to happen, look at who expands resources in the match, and then instantly pop whoever is low. And that's the scary part about this Hellcurt. That's why GameLab are sending out Dokman to kind of track the movement so they know where to expect Venogod. Now, Havas, he is struggling a little bit in this matchup, and that's to be expected against the Joy. But for this upcoming Turtle fight, he needs to be there.
Yeah, he's got it. Even harassing the jungle as well. Euphoria Esports bringing the turtle down low. Yoshi-God comes out the brush, but once more Venogod takes the turtle away. Co-Ultra use as well. The good wall blocking Aizawa away, forcing the Shadow Stampede. But look at his God. He's chasing them to the ends of the earth. Ryujin got on the Mega Q streak. Takenaga left to his own devices. They will turn off the lights, jump on him, get the deadly spike. Takenaga is gone. Underneath the tier 2, the stolen call altar is there. Euphoria Esports making it out with the entire team.
Wow, I'm surprised nobody died there. Like, at some point, Havas, yep, there we go. Ryujin's out of position. Oh, yeah, Havas doesn't have any mana? No, that's so sad. After everything, Havas he's limited by his mana. That's gotta be a terrible feeling.
This lead is building up pretty fast, almost 3K for Euphoria Esports, and the Little Wanderer, yeah, gets stolen by Shizzle-God as well. Nothing going right for GameLab so far.
Yep, and I mean, to be fair, GameLab, they're positioning themselves really, really well. It's just not working out in their favor just yet. And for Venogod, he's having the time of his life. His teammates are doing all the work. He just needs to show up for the cleanup.
Yeah, and Yoshi-God as well, right? He's putting so much pressure down bot. Yotisi getting clipped by the shot as well. It's gonna force him back. Yoshi-God, wow charge right there, forcing the call altar. Aizawa keeping his Ruby alive, but now they won't have the call altar. The wall! Oh, Yoshi-God blocks all of them away from the tier 1. They even have the stolen call altar. There's 3 dead for 4 dead for GameLab.
I think we found our bang bang of the week. Let's play that one more time. This is timed so well. Look at that. The call altar times out at the worst possible time with the rest of the members of Euphoria chunking out the temp HP to set up for Venogod to come in with 4 deadly stingers, all of which just piercing through, getting multiple members, just so much collateral damage.
Oh yes, and yeah, this goalie is starting to get out of control. 6.5 minutes, 5,000. And Venogod, he is fearless at this point. And Yoshi-God, he just expands the flicker like that. Takenaga, there's nothing left in the tank. Stolen call altar again. They're diving for more. Dolman turning the shish kebab. Venogod couldn't finish the kill, but maybe Rujin God can. They're thinking about it. Venogod can't finish the kill, but they did get the tier 1 mid.
Okay, Dogman, he is definitely building some armor right there. He definitely should have died considering the lead that we are seeing from this Hellcurt. It looks like Hellcurt currently... Oh! Actually, I disregard that. Hellcurt so far only has the Demon Hunter sword for now.
As no, the burst damage isn't there yet.
Yeah, it's
It'll
not
be
there.
soon enough.
He will eventually get there. I mean, considering that he is 2-2-7, he's getting a lot of assists.
Oh yes, he definitely is, right? And again, not the first one
there we
to
go.
enter the fight, but I mean, his ultimate has been so useful.
I mean, now that he's got the Sea Halberd, he is very likely to finish off targets.
Rujin God being a menace, keeping 2 members of GameLab at bay. Even with it's called Alter, I would say the bootleg one by Rujin God has been doing way more work in these fights.
Look, the ripoffs, the blue disc just as good as the yellow disc at this point in time, and I don't know, for Euphoria, they're just getting away with absolutely everything right now, right? Because they have unlocked Shizu. Oh wait,
Oh my god, engaging topside. Yeah, they're gonna lose the Hellcut this time. The 4 members of GameLab.
well, they should, on the next wave, they should be able to secure this top objective. Oh, they cancel it out as well. Heads God just being annoying.
And forcing Takenaga to go for a late reset also. But while all of that was happening, they get the bot tier 2, and because they forced that late recall, well, top tier 2 is also going to be taken down.
Yep, staggering the recalls, a very annoying, well, in all MOBAs, honestly, very annoying to deal with, but here, so valuable. Euphoria now able to get more turrets for themselves. They only have 1 outer turret to actually deal with, and this upcoming neutral objective is really tough for GameLab to actually contest.
And Yoshigo has been being so annoying. There's nothing that GameLab could do to really take down Yoshigo. Yeah, sure, Shadow Stampede, it's the power of nature, gets rid of that.
Yeah, honestly, it's really difficult here for GameLab to play the game, right? Nobody can really open up the map safely because there's so much combo potential from Euphoria. Oh, speaking of which.
He's got, he's just going to poke his head out just a little bit. GameLab wants it, and again Yoshigo just engages with the wild charge, forcing that early call Ultra Vanguard right there. They get a Shadow Stampede pull back, but Euphoria Esports, they just run GameLab down in front of their own base. Rujin God even diving underneath the inhibitor. They got 2 kills even, and this inhibitor is gone.
Now, I'm trying to figure out whether Venogod actually landed the Deadly Stingers or not. It was a little tough to tell with the Call Altar and temp HP, but it felt like he whiffed it a little bit. That should have been a fast kill onto specifically Aizawa there, but it could be because he still had Purify and he used it preemptively that he was able to protect himself.
Yoshi got happy to not even give his life away, but just buy time for Euphoria to get the Lord. The timing is impeccable. 10k gold lead now. We're approaching kind of the death sentence threshold.
Yeah, I think honestly this is a death sentence for GameLab. The last time we saw Euphoria have an 8k lead, GameLab was only able to hold out for an extra 6 minutes. Well, let's see whether that's going to be true here. By 15 minutes, the gold should even out for GameLab. But until then, let's see what they're willing to sacrifice. How many inhibitor turrets have to fall?
If the previous game was all about Shizuoka on the carry, this game is 100% just Yuktizzy on his carry.
Yeah,
the only damage dealer at this point.
Yeah, it's a good point. Aizawa will eventually scale, but it's going to take a while.
Yeah, I don't think he has time, right? No amount of talk. This is not like the Showmatch. We can't wait for the late game.
Yeah, it's Euphoria won't let it. They're going to take it. Oh, they're going to try and siege this inhibitor though.
Escort, he's just running circles around GameLab. That's the kind of the lack of crowd control, right? No one to really keep this Joy pinned down. But they did take care of the Lord, and the inhibitor is actually not facing much. Again, the flicker wild charge. Well, Call Altar is dead. They get a good final slash, but for Esports, they are just so durable. The damage is overwhelming. Dolman is gone. Euphoria Esports is looking for quick game 3, all inhibitors down. Euphoria Esports, they are in no rush to end this game, but if they get another kill, maybe they can just go for the juggler. Havas getting a good punish onto Rujin God, but they don't have damage left. Euphoria Esports sticking around, but they know that they can't end the game yet, so they're gonna back off.
Oh man, this really sucks for GameLab. Like, Euphoria is making sure that they're taking everything, and I feel like, as of right now, one of the few interactions that... Aizawa
can't even recall in peace in his own base.
You gotta feel a little bad for him there, but Euphoria, they're basically setting themselves up for victory, right? It's slow and painful, but it's going to get the job done. 4-16 so far with an 11k gold lead. This is unheard of in terms of gold leads.
Yeah, death by 1,000 cuts.
11,000 cuts, unfortunately. But I think, you know, for Euphoria, you can definitely see how they're playing their composition. They're looking for these initial engages, pull off the combo with Shizogod, and then immediately turn off the lights.
They're playing so much more comfortable, right? It's lesser pressure to force these kind of play. I mean, when you see the difference between Yoshi got on a Franco and on a Grok, just massive.
Huge. Actually, now that we have the time, we can actually talk about this one interaction, right? When Hellcurt, his passive triggers every time he takes CC, and there's a bit of a cooldown on it. So if he does take CC, he silences everybody, the person who actually does throw out that CC. In this case, Takenaga is actually having a really tough time locking down someone like Venogod, because when he does, he gets silenced, he can't keep up the combination. He can't instantly go, oh, into the taunt, you know, sustain with the first ability, and try to get enough combo points again to go for the Appraiser's Wrath. It's been quite the struggle.
I mean, Aizawa just lost 70% of health with that one shot. Takenaga, yeah, I mean, this guy, 0-7. Just a tough game for him. And Venogod, by himself, is going to secure this Lord again. There's no chance for GameLab to even contest this second Lord going over to Euphoria Esports.
Yeah, GameLab is just way too far behind against Euphoria Esports. In a perfect world where it's about 50-50, they would stand a little bit more of a chance, but then again, the direction that we're seeing so far, it's basically just, you know, Shizo and Veno working hand in hand, looking for opportunities created by Ryujin God, Heads, as well as Yoshi. Well, most obviously Yoshi, but everybody else has their moments.
Yeah. And when we look at, you know, the total deaths on the side of GameLab, right? 10 of them came from both Dortmund and Takenaga combined. And these two are responses to the Hellcurt pick from Euphoria, right?
Yeah.
Really forcing GameLab into such an uncomfortable position. And now they're getting basically brutally punished for it. Instantly turn on the lights, topside Havos. Oh, where did the Hellbar go? This should be a game for Euphoria Esports. There's nothing left for GameLab. Euphoria Esports basically bulldozing onto the crystal. Triple for Venogod. No time for a Savage, but doesn't matter. Game 3 for Euphoria. Now they're at series point.
Woo! What a game coming out from Euphoria Esports. Making it clean, making sure that it's cool and calculated, but man, GameLab were struggling. This is why they were banning out the Hellcurt in the first couple of games, and it's super understandable why.
Yeah, this is a brutal beatdown, just like game 1, right? And this is where I think I want